Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi-Lila, Chapter 4, text number 60. Hladini Karaya Krishne Anandasvadana Hladinira Dvara Kare Bhaktera Poshana Hladini Karaya Krishne Anandasvadana Hladinira Dvara Kare Bhaktera Poshana Hladini Karaya Krishne Anandasvadana Hladinira Dvara Kare Bhaktera Poshana Hladini Karaya Krishne Anandasvadana Hladinira Dvara Kare Bhaktera Poshana. Please stand. Matajis? Hladini, the Hladini energy, Karaya, causes to do, Krishna, in Lord Krishna, Anandasvadana, the tasting of bliss, Hladini Dvara, by the pleasure potency, Kare, does, Bhaktera, of the devotee, Poshana, nourishing. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Hladini energy gives Krishna pleasure and nourishes his devotees. Purport. Srila Jiva Goswami has elaborately discussed the Hladini potency in his Priti Sandarbha. He says that Vedas clearly state only devotional service can lead one to the personality of Godhead. Only devotional service can help a devotee meet the Supreme Lord face to face. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is attracted by devotional service, and as such, the ultimate supremacy of Vedic knowledge rests in knowing the science of devotional service. What is the particular attraction that makes the Supreme Lord enthusiastic to accept devotional service, and what is the nature of such service? The Vedic scriptures inform us that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, is self sufficient and that Maya, Nashines, can never influence him at all. Therefore, the potency that overcomes the Supreme must be purely spiritual. Such a potency cannot be anything of the material manifestation. The bliss enjoyed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be of natural composition like the impersonalist conception of the bliss of Brahman. Devotional service is reciprocation between two, and therefore it cannot be located simply within oneself. Therefore, the bliss of self realization, Brahmananda, cannot be equated with devotional service. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has three kinds of internal potency, namely the Hladini Shakti or pleasure potency, the Sandhini Shakti or existential potency, and the Samvit Shakti or cognitive potency. In the Vishnu Purana, the Lord is addressed as follows: O Lord, you are the support of everything. The three attributes, Hladini, Sandhini, and Samvit, exist in you as one spiritual energy. But the material modes which cause happiness, misery, and mixture of the two do not exist in you, for you have no material qualities. Hladini is the personal manifestation of the blissfulness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by which he enjoys pleasure. Because the pleasure potency is perpetually present in the Supreme Lord, the theory of the impersonalist that the Lord appears in the material mode of goodness cannot be accepted. The impersonalist conclusion is against the Vedic version that the Lord possesses a transcendental pleasure potency. When the pleasure potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is exhibited by His grace in the person of a devotee, that manifestation is called love of God. Love of God is an epithet for the pleasure potency of the Lord. Therefore, devotion service reciprocated between the Lord and His devotee is an exhibition of the transcendental pleasure potency of the Lord. The potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that always enriches him with transcendental bliss is not material, but the Shankarites have accepted it as such because they are ignorant of the identity of the Supreme Lord and His pleasure potency. Those ignorant persons cannot understand the distinction between impersonal spiritual bliss and the variegatedness of the spiritual pleasure potency. The Hladini potency gives the Lord all transcendental pleasure, and the Lord bestows such potency upon His pure devotee. Fan band kar do. Om Ajnana Timrinda. Fan band karo. Om Ajnana Timrindasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalptarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhyayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shrivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishnaya Vasudevaya, Devaki Nandanaya Cha, Nandagopakumaraya, Govindaya Namo Namaha, Namaha Pankajanabhaya, Namaha Pankajamaline, Namaha Pankajanetraya, Namaste Pankajangraye. Hare Krishna. It's great. Devkinanda Prabhu was supposed to give class. He's not well. So, last minute replacement. I will try. I didn't get any time to. Today I woke up late also. So, Prabhupada in this purport is mainly discussing about the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, the person, the personality, and the bliss of Brahman and the bliss of being in Krishna consciousness. Right? And then what gives pleasure to Sri Krishna? Hladini potency. So I will try to discuss. So then Prabhupada writes in the end, so that love of God, Krishna bestows to whom? One who performs pure devotional service. So only pure devotional service, gives pleasure to Krishna. Right? Prabhupada is writing. Ya nivrutam tanuvrutam tavapada padma dhyanat bhavat janakatha shravano napishyat sa brahmani sva mahimani apinad ma bhut yo antaka shilulitat patitam vimanat. You know this verse? Dhruva Maharaj's prayers. Beautiful prayer. Dhruva Maharaj's prayers. Ya nivrutam tanuvrutam tavapada padma. So Dhruva Maharaj is saying, my dear Lord, whenever whenever a devotee has perfected his devotional service, Krishna has given him darshan. Then as soon as the devotee sees the Lord, then he felt that, like Dhruva Maharaj, he wanted to kiss his lotus feet, he wanted to embrace him, he wanted to smell him. So all his five senses, they became awakened. And that is why our only aspiration, should be when we will see Krishna. So that is what, when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we should chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra with a desire. So Vishnu Jagatakur, this chapter is going on, 87th chapter. In that one of the purports, Shri Vishnu Jagatakur writes that one must chant with an intense desire to have darshan of Radha and Krishna. That was the perfection of our eyes. So Dhruva Maharaj is saying, Ya nivrutam tanuvrutam tavapada padma. Those who are embodied, So dhyanat bhavajjanakata shravanona pishat. Those who meditate on your lotus feet and those who hear your Krishna katha, bhavajjanakatha, shravanona pishat. For such people, nivruta, they get so much bliss, happiness. Sa brahmani sva mehmini apinad mabut. So the bliss that one experiences by experiencing Brahman, Prabhupada writes, the bliss of experiencing Brahman is just like water in the calf's hoof print. Right? And the happiness one experiences by meditating on the lotus feet of Krishna and by hearing about Krishna Katha and after having darshan of the Lord, that happiness is compared to an ocean. Where is the water in the calf's hoof print and where is the ocean? There is no comparison. Right? Then sa brahmani sva mahamini apinad mabut ya antakash lilitat patitam vimanat. And then those who are gone to Svargaloka, Prabhupada writes, just like when an aeroplane goes into the air, flying, and then when the petrol is finished, the oil is finished, it will crash. Right? It will crash. In the same way, those who have gone to heavenly planets, as soon as their punya finishes, they will fall down. That is useless. Swarga Sukha is useless. And then Brahma Sukha is like a water in the hoof sprint. And then Krishna, the Sukha that we experience in Krishna consciousness is like a ocean. And that ocean is increasing day by day. Every moment it increases. That is why devotees become mad out of happiness. Right? That is why Prabhupada writes, generally these karmis, they are mad after women, and then devotees are mad after Krishna. Because they get so much experience, happiness. Bhakti muhuhu prahotam tvaime prasango bhuyad ananta mahatam amalashayanam yenanja sulbana uruvyasanam bhavabdim nesye bhavad guna kathamrita panamatta. Said Dhruva Maharaj is expressing, this is the best verse of all. Bhakti muhu prahotam tvaime prasanga. Prabhupada writes, Ganges water, in spite of all hurdles, you keep for Ganges water. It overcomes all the hurdles and flows continuously, constantly to the ocean in Bay of Bengal. So, continuously flow. In the same way, a devotee of Krishna engages in Krishna's service 24 hours. Right? 24 hours. That is the nature. Please give me association of such a pure devotee. Dhruva Maharaj is asking. Bhakti muhu pravatam tvaime prasango bhuyad ananta mahatam amalashayanam. And such devotees are completely free from all material contamination. And then they are constantly engaged, 24 hours. Can anybody say that whatever I speak, record? Can anybody say in ISKCON or anybody? Because we do so much prajalpa, ninda, right? But Prabhupada told, whatever I speak, record. Because Prabhupada is engaged in a 24 hours devotion service. Right? Bhakti mu pravatam tvaime prasango bhuyad ananta mahatam amalashayanam enanja sulbanam. Then Prabhupada makes this question. Then what about your liberation? They don't care. They don't care. Why? Nesye bhavad guna katamrita panamatta. Let me become intoxicated by hearing about your wonderful qualities. Let me become intoxicated, from the pure devotees, in the association of pure devotees. So that should be our desire all the time, glorify Krishna, in the association of devotees. So when we associate with each other, we should associate with each other, not that, we are pure. So we are still trying to become pure. So when we associate with each other, we should associate, to discuss Prabhupada books. Because Srila Prabhupada is the Paramahamsa pure devotee. That Dhruva Maharaj is describing. Ananta Mahatam Amalashayana, who is addicted to drinking So somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, how do you become a devotee? Then Srila Prabhupada replied, counter-questioned, how do you become a drunkard? How do you become a drunkard? By drinking every day. Right? By drinking every day, you become a drunkard. Like that. By chanting Hare Krishna every day, Prabhupada said, you can become a devotee. So Prabhupada said, you should become intoxicated. You should become intoxicated. Right? Then Prabhupada gave this famous example. So in the beginning, like kacha mango and pakka mango. So mango is always mango, kacha mango and pakka mango. So kacha mango doesn't taste so nice, but if you leave the kacha mango into the tree, it ripens. It's a mango. In the same way, in the beginning, we are struggling to perform devotional service, but we are devotees. But if you stick to this process of Krishna consciousness, then we will become pakka mango. Now we are kacha mango, at least not we. I should not use I. I am kacha mango. Then if I remain, attached to the process, then one day I can become pakka mango. Right? So we should aspire. Why? In the association of pure devotees, that should be our only desire. Let me get, association of pure devotees, right? Paramahamsa, Mahabhagavat devotees. That should be our desire. So, why? Because Krishna bestowed the epithet, Prabhupada writes, love of God in Srila Prabhupada, pure devotees. So that is why, out of love of God, they always glorify Krishna. They don't have any other business. They don't have any other business like that. Who is that Krishna? Right? Who is that Krishna? In everybody's heart, this impersonalism, Nirakarvad, is very much prevalent in the hearts of everybody. So that is why Srila Prabhupada and also Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur so much stressed upon this aspect of accepting Krishna's beautiful form. Right? That's what Prabhupada writes. These Mayavadis, they think that Krishna is impersonal. And then when Krishna comes, he accepts the body of made of sattva guna. So Srila Prabhupada writes that if anybody thinks that deity of Krishna is made of matter, if anybody thinks that Krishna's body is made of matter in mode of goodness, like Mayavadis are saying, such people, even if they are practicing Krishna consciousness, suppose a devotee in ISKCON thinks like that, Krishna's body is made, deity is made of matter, stone. Then Krishna's body is made of matter, and then after liberation we will go and merge with the body of Krishna, Brahman, like that. If anybody thinks like that, even if somebody who is worshipping Krishna, practicing Krishna consciousness, he will take birth as a Rakshasa in the next life. Mogasa, Moga Karmano, Moga Jnana Vichetasaha, Rakshasi Masurim Cheva, Prakriti Mohinim Shita, in this verse purport. Right? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, and then Prabhupada also writes. So this is a very dangerous concept. Very dangerous concept. So that is why Sattvam Nachet Dhatar Idam Nijam Bhavet Vijnana Majnana Bidhavi Marjanam Guna Prakashair Anumiyate Bhavan Prakashayescha Ye Gunaha. This is a verse from 10th canto, 2nd chapter, prayers by demigods. Right? Prayers by demigods. So they are making it very clear. So all the demigods, Brahmaji, Lord Shiva, Indra, Chandra, Surya, they all came to offer prayers to Krishna. It is called Garbhastuti. Very wonderful prayers. Many times I mentioned this. What is the most beautiful verse in the entire Srimad Bhagavatam? Vishnu Tattva Prabhu? Which is the most beautiful verse in Srimad Bhagavatam? Right? Satyavratam Satyaparam Trisatyam Satyasya Yonim Nihitam Cha Satya Satyasya Satyam Nrita Satyanetram Satyatmakam Tvam Sharanam Prapadye. This is the first prayer by demigods. Then Jiva Goswami categorized in the commentary that this is the most beautiful verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? And then there is elaborate purport. We don't want to go into that. Prabhupada gave a very beautiful purport in his commentary, 10th canto, first chapter, second chapter. So the verse that I quoted, Sattvam nachet datar idam nijam bhavet. Sattvam nijam. So Vishnu Thakur says, anybody who accepts and then who understands that Krishna's body is made of Vishuddha Sattva, Satchidananda Vigraha. And then he understands that Krishna's body is not made of matter. Simply by understanding this, accepting this fact, he will get love of Krishna. So powerful. That's why Prabhupada is stressing upon this. So, that is Vijnana. Vijnana, Prabhupada writes, in Krishna book on the purport of this verse, Prabhupada writes that many people, they have this, they think that, God has created this world and then he has become old. Then he has given to us and then he had disappeared. He became very tired. All that stuff. Economics, something like that. So, they have their own concept of God's form and all that. In order to defeat all their misconceptions of people, Krishna personally appeared in his original blissful body. That is the meaning of Sattvam nachet datar idam nijam bhavet. So this understanding we got Vijnana. So originally Brahmaji has got this Vijnana. So he saw personally Krishna's original form. So from there he got this understanding. Then we are receiving that knowledge from Parampara of Brahmaji, Vijnanam. So this knowledge, Prabhupada writes, this knowledge that Krishna's body is transcendental, destroys ajnana vida vimarjanam. Destroys all the ajnana. All the ajnana. Right? So you can go back and read both Krishna book and purport in 10th canto, 2nd chapter. Very beautiful. 10th canto, 2nd chapter. Sattvam nachet datar idam nijam bhavet. Vijnanam ajnana vida vimarjanam. So like that. So then Prabhupada writes in 10th canto, Krishna book, 87th chapter, that now the chapter is going on. So Prabhupada writes that he explains Krishna has Asta Divya Gunas, 8 transcendental qualities. Anybody, you remember? What are the 8 divine qualities of Krishna? You need, Achintya? You are not reading Krishna book. Anybody? Very unfortunate. That is 5 super excellent qualities. I will tell. Many times I told, I don't mind repeating. Number 1, Krishna is never affected by sinful reactions. Apa viddham. Right? I will not explain. Number 2, Krishna never becomes old. Number 3, Krishna never dies. Krishna is never subjected to lamentation. Number 5, Krishna doesn't feel hungry. Number 6, Krishna doesn't feel thirsty. Number 7, whatever Krishna does, all his desires, they are lawful. And then number 8, nobody can stop Krishna from what he wants to do. right? कोई माइके लाल नहीं है. Krishna go, if Krishna wants to do something, nobody can stop him. These are the 8 divine qualities, Asta Divya Guna. Then Krishna has Asta Siddhis. That's why he is known as Yogeshwara. And then Krishna has 6 opulences, Shadaishwarya. Because Prabhupada, actually, one should memorize the entire chapter, 87 chapter. Around 100 pages are there. Then you will know everything about Krishna. Most beautiful chapter in the whole world, 87 chapter, Krishna book. Many times I have read, many things I remember. Most, what is it? Fearful to read. Very nectarian, I don't know. I like to read all the time, the chapter. So, Prabhupada writes that because he is full of Shadaishwarya, he has 8 transcendental qualities, and then he has 8 Astasiddhi perfections. He is Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then Prabhupada goes on to describe what is self-realization. Self-realization means, note down. Yeah? I want to know how many of you are self-realized. Right now we will know. If anybody understands, accepts that Krishna is the only worshipable Lord. What? Krishna is the only worshipable Lord. And every living entity should render service to him. If you know these 2 things, accept, you are a self-realized soul. Are you? Huh? You accept? Huh? You accept? You accept? That means you should not serve anybody else, only Krishna. Huh? Only Krishna. No demigod worship. Huh? सिद्धि विनायक फेस्टिवल आ गए तो बस ऑल पंडाल में चला जाने का. कलकत्ता में दुर्गा मंडप में सब चले जाने का. ये सब नहीं चलेगा. हाँ, वो तो ठीक है. That is fanatism. We should be fanatic. Right? Sri Vaishnavas, they say, they're Kattarpanthis. If there is a fire and there is a chance to go to demigod temple, they will say, we will prefer to jump into the fire than go to demigod temple. That is their. अभी ISKCON में पूरा कल्ती हो गया. In America and all, they do, they put Durga, on Durga Puja day, they put Durga Devi, some plaster of Paris ka vigraha, and they put, now in America, we should do it, They have a computer, laptop, you can work, ask Sham Pandey, laptop is there, and then there is, then you can go and then switch, put, and then you can donate. Put your bank, E-Hundi? India में है? Yeah, E-Hundi. So they put a E-Hundi and then all that. Then on Lord Shiva, Shivaratri they do Abhishek, Linga, and collect money. This is Kalti, So, Supreme Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then everybody. Then Prabhupada writes, these Mayavadis, they don't want to accept this. They say that Krishna's body is material, made of goodness, because right now I am in this body. If they accept that Krishna is transcendental, they cannot become transcendental because their body is material. So if they say that Krishna's body is material, my body is also material, I can purify myself, then I can become like Krishna. That is their wretched plan. Very dirty idea they have. That is why they keep on saying that Krishna's body is made of Sattva-gun. This is complete nonsense. Then Prabhupada writes that Esham tva antagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam drudavrata. Those who understand this, those who are free from sin, all sinful reactions and who are pious, they accept these two statements. What are they? Krishna is the only worshipable Lord, and then everybody should render service to him. These Mayavadis, they are not completely free from sinful reactions. That is why they say that Krishna's body is made of matter. Right? So, if you understand this verse, Sattvam nachet dhataridam nijam bhavet, vijnanam ajnana vidavimarjanam, you will get Krishna prema. Just by accepting this one fact that Krishna's body is made of Vishuddha Sattva. And then Krishna's deity is also Vishuddha Sattva. Like that. Asti swastarni karagra vigalata kalpa prasun plutam vastu prastuta venu ninada lahari nirvana nirvyakulam srashta srashta nirudyanivi vilasa gopi sahasradibir hasta nasta ed apapa vargam akilodharam kishorakriti. This is a verse from Krishna Karnamrita, second verse. Mangala Charana. Asti, you see the beautiful poetry. Asti swasti. Vastu prastuta. Srashta srashta. Hasta nasta. The beautiful poetry. Yeah. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writes commentary on this, and Gopal Bhatta Goswami also wrote a commentary. So, who is Krishna? Right? Who is Krishna? Vastu Prastuta. What is your name? Sundarhari Prabhu. Where did you hear this Vastu? Somewhere else also you read, right? Bhagavatam? I did ask you? Vastu, are you sure? Second verse, na? Bolo.
Dharma projita kaitavatra parmo nirmasaranam satam vedyam vastava vastu atra shodam trapatro.
So there, that Vastu and this Vastu are same. Right? Vastu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is full of bliss. Vastu means. How does he look? How does he look? Akilodaram Kishorakriti. He looks like a Kishora. Then he is playing flute. Vastu prastuta venu ninada lahari. Nirvana nirvyakulam. Okay? Nirvana nirvyakulam. So, it's a beautiful verse. I'll just briefly explain. So, when Krishna is playing flute, prastuta, venu, vastu prastuta venu ninada lahari, nirvana nirvyakulam. The gopis, who are the gopis? Nirvana. Nirvana means from whose hearts bana is removed. Means nobody can pierce their heart. The gopis are completely pure. They are not affected by any lust. Such gopis, they became affected by Krishna's playing flute. Vastu prastuta venu ninada lahari nirvana nirvyakulam. Right? That is why the gopis are always disturbed by the Venunad, that srasta nirudyanivi vilasa gopi sahasradivir. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, what is the definition of Mukunda? Yeah. But Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami gave another twist. One who releases the gopis from their strings of their petticoats and then their bodices and their clothes. Because that is why Srashta Srashta Niruddhanivi, their clothes become loosened, the strings of their clothes become loosened, and they catch hold of their clothes and they run. They run towards Krishna. So Nirvyakulam means he became careless. Krishna became careless. You know why? Because Krishna is worried how to bring out these gopis because they are very chaste. You know, they are very chaste women. How to bring them out from their houses? Then he, without much hope, he played a flute. When the gopis heard the flute, you know, played they came running. When Krishna saw gopis coming running, then he became nirvakulam. He became careless. My trick has worked. My trick has worked. So Krishna then uh, the maidens in the apsaras in the Swargaloka, when they hear this beautiful sound vibration of the flute, which produces 21 sound vibrations, raga, they were plucking the flowers from the Kalpavriksha trees, in the heavenly planet. So those flowers, they fall from their hands. Astisvastarni karagra vigalata kalpa prasun platum. They are falling. They are falling. So they are worshipping Krishna by showering flowers on Krishna, by playing so beautifully. Then hasta nasta nadapavargam. Krishna, to his pure devotees, he gave liberation in their left hand. So here, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, apavarga means Krishna prema, not liberation. Apavarga. So pure devotees. So those who worship this Kishora Akriti, they actually become. It's easy. It becomes easy for them. Another meaning they say, Swarga means Vaikuntha. The Lakshmis, because they cannot get association of Krishna directly because they are in mood of opulence. So they are having Kalpavriksha flowers in their hands. When they heard flute vibration, they became so disturbed. The flowers from their hands fell on Krishna's head, like that. So that Kishorakriti, I worship Akila Udaram. He is very, very merciful. Akila Udaram. Akila means Supreme Personality of Godhead, full of all good qualities. Then Udara means he is very, very merciful. But in order to get that pure devotional service, we must perform devotional service in mode of Vishuddha Sattva. Right? How many of you know how many types of devotional service are there? Huh? 81. Very good. Abhisandaya yo himsam madam matsaryam evava samrambi pratak bhava mai kuryat sa tamasa. One who is violent, one who is envious, one who is proud. When that person performs devotional service, that devotional service is in mode of ignorance. Vishayan abhisandaya yasho aishwaryam evava archayet evava Pratak Bhava sa Rajasa. You know what is Pratak Bhava? Pratak Bhava means separatist mentality. One who is a separatist, one who is a separatist, one who is looking for Aishwarya, opulence, one who is looking for name and fame. And then one who has a dividing mentality. So Pratak Bhava means my interest and Krishna's interests are different. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, one who thinks that I have a material desire, I will worship Krishna, and then Krishna should fulfill that desire. That is called separatist mentality. My desire and Krishna's desire should be one. That is ekatvam. Right? So the separatist mentality, that is then karma nirharam uddisya parasmin tad arpanam yajeta yastaivam yomam pratak bhava sasatviki. So the mode of goodness, devotional service in mode of goodness is karma nirharam. He will give up the fruits of his activities to Krishna. There is a difference. He is also Pratak Bhava only because he wants to do that certain work, but he will give up the results of his activity to Krishna. That is devotional service in mode of goodness. Right? Now Krishna is going to describe what is devotional service in Vishuddha Sattva. That we should be practicing. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, like that devotional Shravanam in mode of goodness, Shravanam in mode of passion, Shravanam in mode of ignorance. Like that 9 into 3 and into 3. That is 81. That is 81 types of devotional service are there. Prabhupada writes, if you want Krishna, you have to cross over all these 81 processes of devotional service and come to the process that I'm going to quote. Madguna Shruti Matrena Mai Sarvam Guhashaya Manogatir Avichinna Yata Ganga Ambusa Ambudam Lakshanam Bhakti Yogasya Nirgunasya Udahritaha Ahetyaki Avyavahita Ya Bhaktim Purushottami. Ya Bhaktim Purushottami. So what is the nature of, what is the symptom of pure devotional service? Right? What is the symptom of pure devotional service? So Lord Kapila is saying, Mad Guna Shruti Matrena. As soon as somebody hears about me, my sarvam guhashaya, who is present in everybody's heart. Manogatir avichinna, his mind travels to me, to that katha. Right? To that katha. Travels to that katha. Just like, I already quoted, just like Ganga flows towards ocean. Whatever may be the obstacles, Ganga overcomes the obstacles and flows towards the ocean. In the same way, as soon as one hears about my katha, my katha, he runs, his ears run, his mind runs. Spontaneous attraction for hearing about Krishna. Such a Lakshanam Bhakti Yogasya Nirgunasya Udahritaha Ahetyaki Avyavahita. So, nature of pure devotional service means ahetyaki, means causeless. Apratihat, avyavahita, without interruption. Prabhupada writes, under all material circumstances, one can perform devotional service. You cannot say, my husband is not allowing, my friends are not allowing, all that, Yeah, all circumstances. Whether somebody becomes a dog or a cat also, he can perform devotional service. Right? There is no material obstacle for performing devotional service. Only thing you require is, you should have desire. Salokya, Srasti, Samipya, Sarupyaikatva, what is that? Diyamanam na vindanti, vina mat sevanam yatha. Yeah. My devotees, they don't accept even Salokya, Sasti, all this, four types devotional service, four types of liberation. If there is no seva available there, Prabhupada writes, this is the level, this is the kind of, that is why Prabhupada writes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Mama, what is that? Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadish kamaye, mama janmani janmanishal, bhavatat bhakti. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. In Telugu, any Telugu, na dhanam means mera dhan. Na janam means mera dhan. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. So it should not be Telugu. Telugu meaning you should not take. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. Kavita ma jagadish kame. Mama janmani janmani shri bhavadat bhakti rahati. Right? I nanda tanuja. Kinkaram patitam maamishame bhavam budo. Krupayata upada pankaja. Sitaduli sadrisham vichintaya. So our original desire should be to be dust particle on the lotus feet of Krishna. Then one comments that if, my dear Lord, I am not qualified to be a dust particle on your lotus feet. As long as I am not qualified to be dust particle on your lotus feet, till that time, life after life, please give me your service. Not that, Prabhupada, somebody told Prabhupada, you are always saying that, go back to Godhead, go back to Godhead. Then Mahaprabhu is saying, Mama Janma Janmantari. Prabhupada said, you go back, I will stay. And do life after life service. Because this world is very dangerous. Even Mahabhagavat also can become, attracted. So very dangerous. You go back to Godhead. So that is the meaning of that verse. As long as I am not qualified, if I have to take birth again and again, please engage me in your service. Right? So that is why Sayeva Bhakti Yogakya Atyanta Udahritam Yena Ativrajena Trigunam Madbhava Upapadyate. So those who perform this kind of Nirguna Bhakti, transcendental devotion service, they will overcome all obstacles and they will attain my nature. Madbhava Upapadyate. Yena Ati Varjena Trigunam. They will overcome three modes of nature and all that. Then there is no time. Then Lord Kapila, these verses I am learning when I was in America. So I was thinking. I was thinking, how do we perform devotional service like that? Madguna Shruti Matrena and all. Then 5-6 verses, Lord Kapila explains how to reach that stage. Nishevatena Animittena Swadharmena Mahiyasa Kriya Yogena Sastena Nati Himshrena Nityasaha. Engage in your, Prabhupada writes, Mahiyasa, glorious Swadharma, occupation duty, glorious Swadharma, without being attached, and perform pure devotional service, which is very auspicious. Kriya Yogena, Kriya Yoga means devotional service. Then Prabhupada writes, Lord Kapila says, Nati Himshrena Nityasaha, always perform devotional service without causing violence to other living entities. This is very important. Manasa, Vacha, Karmana. We should not cause pain to any living entity, especially to devotees. Very carefully we should conduct ourselves and then perform devotional service. Then I will close by quoting another verse. Maddishna Darshana Sparsha. Maddishna Darshana Sparsha. Puja Stuti Abhivandanai. Bhuteshu mad bhavanaya satvena asangamenecha. So then he says, mad dishna means my statue, my deity. darshana, taking darshan, sparsha, by touching, and then puja, by worshipping the deity, stuti, by offering prayers, abhivandana, by offering obeisances, and by considering all living entities as my part and parcel. Having a spiritual, inclination, then one must perform sattvena asangamena cha. One must be situated in sattva guna, and then one should avoid bad association. Then adhyatmika ashrunvan nama sankirtane vacha. Then he says that always hear about my activities, adhyatmika, spiritual matters. And then always chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra without offense. Arjava, Arya Sangena. Arjava means simple and straightforward. Then Arya Sangamena, by association with pure devotees. Then such, and then Yamena Niyamena. Anyway, I want to close. So when somebody performs devotional service like this, very gradual, then Yata Vataratam Granam. When the air is flowing, is carrying fragrance, and then when it touches your nose, it immediately catches the fragrance. In the same way, those who are performing this kind of pure devotional service, they can catch Krishna. So that is what we are doing already. We should do all this with knowledge. Prabhupada gave us this process of transcendental devotional service. Prabhupada writes in first canto Bhagavatam, anybody who follows the instructions of the Acharya, he is practicing transcendental devotional service. How many of you are following? Right? We are all following, right? So you should take care of not being violent and, asking. One devotee used to say like this. My friend, he was my friend. I asked him, ये क्या है? ऐसा करते हैं ना? बोलते, 10 लाख चाहिए. 10 lakh. He used to come, like that. 10 lakh chahiye. So, this is the process of pure devotional service. Right? So, that's what Prabhupada writes. One who performs pure devotional service, they can catch, they will, for them, Krishna will bestow, this Hladini potency, Krishna, the Krishna Prema. Like that. So, thank you very much, Hare Krishna. I tried my best to speak something. I hope you all happy. So, anybody has any questions, comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, for pure devotional service, right? So, when we go out and we give money to beggars or maybe someone needy, is that also?
What is that?
Money? जैसे आप पैसे किसी को देते हैं बाहर जरूरतमंद को, और वो भी कृष्णा का ही रूप, मतलब उसके अंदर भी कृष्ण भगवान है, सबके अंदर है, तो क्या वो भी काउंट होता है किसी तरह एक गुड कर्मा?
प्रभुपाद, ज्यादा पैसा मत देना ताकि वो he will purchase some wine bottle or something. Something you can give. You can give. Because Narada Muni says, you should feed everybody thinking that he is a devotee of Krishna. Devarshi Pitru Bhutebhya, this is a verse from 7th canto, 15th chapter. Devarshi Pitru Bhutebhyo Atmanam Swajanayacha Annam Swavibhajana Pashyet Sarvam Etat Purushatmakam. You should feed everybody. Devatas, Devarshi, Rishis, Pitrus, Bhuta, then all the people thinking that they are part and parcel of Krishna. They are devotees of Krishna. This is, so you should feed everybody. You should see everybody as a devotee of Krishna and serve that person. So there is no strict prohibition of not giving money to the beggars and all. But don't give so much that, they will purchase a wine bottle or a chaku or something to eat. Yeah. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, in the beginning of class, you mentioned that Krishna bestows the love of Godhead when we practice pure devotional service. But in Chaitanya Charitamrita, you mentioned that Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem, that love of God is already there in our heart.
That is awakened. That is understood.
Okay.
It is already there. Prabhupada writes in Bhakti Rasam Sindhu. You cannot give something which already. So somebody doesn't have a walking capability. He cannot walk. But if a child has already a walking capability, with the help of mother, he practices walking, he will get it. In the same way, already pure devotional service, Krishna Prema is already there. But वो दग गया था. So by hearing from a pure devotee, you can reawaken. That is the meaning.
One more, Prabhuji. You mentioned one verse of Dhruva Maharaj, Ya Nivrittistanu. Two things are mentioned, that hearing the glories of Lord and meditating on the lotus feet. So practical meaning, hearing the glories of Lord means attending Bhagavatam class. So what is the practical meaning of meditating on the lotus feet means? I am thinking that chanting holy name or...
Prabhupada writes, think of the deity form, lotus feet of the deity. Think, smaran. We don't sit and meditate like yogis, but you think of the Prabhupada writes, think of the form of the Lord constantly. Like last class I told, na? You are there? Huh? Last Monday I gave class. In that I told, you must. Bolo, kaun bolega? Nahi. One must hear, one must read, one must describe, and one must meditate on the lotus feet of Krishna, form of the Lord. In this regard, read 3rd canto, 28th chapter. There are Sanchintayad verses are there. Tell, he knows. Give that mic. Chant. Beautiful, beautiful shlokas. You can learn those verses. 3rd canto, 28th chapter. Sanchintayat. It starts with Sanchintayat.
संचिन्तयद् भगवतस् भगवन् भज संचिन्तयद् भगवतश्चरणारविन्दं वज्राङ्कुशध्वज सरोरुहलाञ्छनाढ्यम् उत्तुङ्गरक्तविलसन्नखचक्रवाल ज्योत्स्नाभिराहतमहद्हृदयान्धकारं हासं हरेरवनत अखिललोकतीव्रं शोकाशुसागरविशोषणमत्युदारं सम्मोहनाय रचितं निजमायया.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So spend some time, learning verses. Yeah, you will like it. I spend my time. I watch also YouTube, but I spend on learning verses also. Lot of verses I learn most of the time. Right? So I was learning 29 chapter when I was in America. So much time was there. So nice, I like. Learn the verses. Brahmacharis, see, they without asking me, they announce my name. Then I was thinking some other Ramarup is there or what. Then I said, okay, no problem. I'll give. Because whatever I've read, I have poured out. Right? So keep on reading. Brahmachari means Swadhyaya. Right? Swadhyaya. Take out time, 2 hours chanting and 1 hour reading. Then only you do service. Right? Don't listen to people, who tell you all the time do service. Right? Swadhyaya. Prabhupada said, two lives we should lead. One should do externally some service. Then internally, you should live in Vrindavan. Thinking about Krishna, chanting nicely, reading Bhagavatam, Krishna book, like that. Cultivate. right? So like that. So learn the verses whenever you get time. You are young, so you can do it. Thank you. Hare Krishna.